Number 4 in a row for Novak Djokovic. He defeats Nick Kyrgios in the Wimbledon final to claim his 4th straight Wimbledon championship, 21st Grand Slam. Congratulations to Djokovic. Incredible match. Shout out to Nick Kyrgios too, who put up a great fight. Took the first set, was in most of the sets. Only got broken twice. Both of them played really, really good. We'll break that down, but congratulations to Djokovic and shout out to Nick Kyrgios for putting up a competitive match against, one of the GOATs. Also, Damian Lillard resigns with the Portland Trail Blazers for 2 years, $120 million plus. Huge contract for Damian Lillard. He stays with the Blazers. We'll see if they're able to, put the pieces around him to make them a competitive team. But Lillard, as he's shown time and time again, he is loyal. He's going to stay with the Trailblazers pretty much till his career. He's now tied up with them till the age 37. And DeAndre Ayton signed with the Pacers, but the Suns did match the offer sheet, so he will be staying with the Suns at least for the foreseeable future. He can't get traded till pretty much January 15th. So at least till January 15th, DeAndre Ayton is a Sun, and the Suns match that offer. All of that on this episode of the Hard to Handle Sports Podcast. Let's get started. Novak Djokovic defeats Nick Kyrgios in 4 sets to claim his 24th Grand Slam. Shout out to Djokovic for, putting on a dominant performance. Nick Kyrgios took the first set 6-4, and although Nick Kyrgios was playing really, really good, he only got broken, I believe, twice in the whole match. He held his serve for the most part in all his games. Djokovic just looked like he was in control of the whole game. Yeah, Nick Kyrgios didn't look like he was getting dominated out there. It didn't look like he didn't belong against Djokovic. He could clearly play. You could clearly see why Nick Kyrgios was in the final. He had 30 aces in the game. They had the same amount of double faults. But Novak Djokovic was just on another level. His return is exceptional. Although Nick Kyrgios was hitting ace after ace after ace, it never looked like Djokovic got upset, got worried. He was just there, calm as ever, returning. Honestly, the way Nick Kyrgios was serving, he probably could have had more than 30 aces. The performance that he had, probably up in the 40s, maybe even 45s. There was at least 15 serves that would have been aces on anybody else. But because it's Novak Djokovic, probably the greatest returner of all time, they were not aces or unreturned serves. They were just, put back into play, and it was frustrating. One of the announcers of when I was watching the game basically said that it was a point that Nick Kyrgios won and Djokovic lost, but Nick Kyrgios could have won that point 3 times before he actually won it. And the announcers put it perfectly. They were like, that type of point is the type of point that wins Djokovic matches, because although Nick Kyrgios won that point, he had to work for it super, super hard, and to have to work for a point that hard every single time or numerous times, it puts an immense pressure on your opponent, that they know that, they probably think they hit a winner. They think, I'm gonna go back to the service lines. It's time to, serve again because this is a winner. And Djokovic is just being an octopus back there, just contorting his body in all types of crazy ways just to get the return. And then you're like, all right, he's completely pushed out of the court. I should be able to finish it now. And he just comes back and returns it again. And he has one of the best defensive lobs I've ever seen, where he barely gets to the ball, but he puts a beautiful spin on it, beautiful lob that just stays in court. And now he's able to recover and get into a good defensive position again. It's incredible. It's incredible what Novak can do. It's just incredible. Not enough could be said about how good this guy is. And we'll see what happens in the future. Novak Djokovic is still not allowed in the U.S., so we'll see if he plays in the U.S. Open. There's still about 2 months, August and September, less than 2 months for Novak to get permission to play in the U.S. Open. I think he just submitted a visa or something to get allowed into the U.S. We'll see how that goes. For Nick Kyrgios, I do believe he's going to play the U.S. Open. He's good on hard courts too. And I do think he's gonna do the U.S. swing and the warm-ups to the U.S. Open. So I'm curious to see how he follows up Wimbledon. I just saw his Instagram today, and he is in the Bahamas, but it does look like he's working out. He's putting in the work, and hopefully this type of run that he had in Wimbledon sparks a fire in Nick Kyrgios, and we see it doesn't. I don't feel like Nick Kyrgios is gonna be that type of player that plays into like his mid, even like not just his late 30s, but even his mid 30s. Like I could see Nick Kyrgios retiring like when he hits 30, 31. So he's 27 right now. Hopefully this fire ignites Nick Kyrgios to go at it at least for like a year or two more really hard and see what he could do. But for now, it at least will fire him to the end of the year. I'm hoping. I think we're going to see a good version of Nick Kyrgios during the U.S. Open swing, during the Asian Tour swing, and hopefully going into the ATP finals where he should be able to compete for doubles at the very least with Kokonakis. And you never know the way he's playing, he might even be able to participate in the ATP finals as a singles player. But overall, I think it was a great final. Obviously, as most people would have liked to see, we would have liked to see Djokovic versus Nadal renew their rivalry at Wimbledon in center court, in that historic center court. It would have been amazing. I was already salivating at the idea of that. Unfortunately, Nadal had to pull out, but this was a exceptional match too. I think everybody that was at center court and everybody that tuned in was satisfied with what we saw on TV. I know a lot of players were watching afterwards. Novak Djokovic got praise from the likes of Luka Doncic, and Nick Kyrgios got praise from Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, the world was watching. I was watching. Hopefully, you guys were watching. It was a great match. Like I said, shout out to Nick Kyrgios for putting on a good battle against Djokovic, and they had a little bro moment at the end. It was nice to see. It's crazy how time can change anything. Time can heal everything, because Djokovic and Kyrgios were once heated rivals that, you would think is the last two people that would be complimenting each other. And at the end, they had a good warm words for each other. And it looked like they're buddies now, so that's great. I think both of them are great for the tennis community. I know a lot of people have, their different opinions about Djokovic and how he carries himself and being unvaccinated. Obviously, there's some things that could be debated. Like a lot of people are saying that that picture, that press conference that he had right before he caught COVID, before the Australian Open, like that's very questionable decision that he made. We could debate all that, but overall, obviously, Djokovic is good for the sport. He's one of the GOATs. He's amazing for the sport. Nick Kyrgios, as volatile as he is, as crazy as he could be sometimes, I think he's good for the sport too. His different play style, he brings some of the characteristic of other sports into tennis, so I think that's good too. Obviously, I'm speaking straight tennis. If obviously there's other stuff outside of sports that still have to get figured out, so we'll see how that sorts itself out. But strictly tennis, these guys are both amazing, and hopefully Djokovic gets an exemption for the U.S. and we are able to see him there, and Nadal heals and Kyrgios comes with form. That would be amazing. But what a way to wrap up Wimbledon 2022. It was an amazing tournament despite all the drama leading up to it, all the drama inside of the tournament, during the tournament. It was a great tournament. Damian Lillard signs a 2-year, $122 million extension with the Portland Trail Blazers. This also has a player option in the 2026-2027 season. So realistically, he could be a free agent at the age of 36 or the age of 37, which would be pretty up there in age. So assuming he doesn't request a trade, this pretty much means Damian Lillard is going to play for one team his whole career. And it also pretty much means, unfortunately, for Trailblazer fans out there, that he's not ever going to win a ring. He's going to go down as one of the players in the NBA history that had the most talent, one of the greats that never won an NBA championship. And it's kind of sad, but it's also kind of cool. Like in the age where Adam Silver is talking about players not finishing out their contract, where he's talking about something has to be done for players to see out their contracts. Damian Lillard, putting his foot down and saying, I can't run away from the grind. I don't want to, go to another team. It's not going to bring the same type of satisfaction to me. If I go to another team and win a ring, I know if I stay here with the Blazers and don't run away from the grind, when eventually I get that ring, it's going to feel that much more amazing with the Trailblazers. So obviously, there's two sides to every coin. Being loyal to your team, honoring the contracts that you signed, staying loyal, seeing out your contracts, playing for one team. It's all great. Like, obviously, everyone would like to be like a Tim Duncan or a Kobe, where they just play for one team, they bring success, 5 rings, they never leave anywhere. Team just keeps rebuilding around you. Maybe you go through hiatus like Kobe did, a couple years. They finally get you a number 2. You're able to win again, and then you age and you go off into the sunset. Or the Tim Duncan, you're just consistently great your whole career. You're always a contender, and you sprinkle a championship every 5 years. You have a 20-year career, and it's amazing, and you're one of the GOATs. But it's not always like that, Dirk Nowitzki, he played for the Mavericks all his career. He only won 1 championship, and he could have easily walked away with 0 if that Miami team had more, a more mature LeBron, LeBron that could understand the big moments. I guess it did take that for LeBron to really like wake up and assert himself as a dominant player in the clutch. But there's definitely like a multiverse or a scenario where Dirk Nowitzki doesn't get a ring with the Mavs, and he kind of has the same scenario that Lillard's living through. He's one of the greats, unguardable, fadeaway, one of the best big men ever, and he doesn't have a ring. There's definitely a scenario where that happens. Thankfully for him, he won one, and it's one of the better rings out there, defeating the Big 3 and the Miami Heat. But like I said, it sucks. Like, because I would, as growing up, I would want my players to just stick it out with my teams. Like, whenever someone left the Lakers or the Chargers, or like in soccer, like if someone left Club America or they left Real Madrid or something like that, it hurt. Obviously it hurt. And even if it meant going to greener pastures, if it was a step up in their career, I was happy to see them. Obviously within the Lakers and like with the Chargers, it's kind of harder. It's harder to be happy for them because they're going to a team within your league. But like Club America for soccer, that's a team in Mexico. So sometimes they would leave to go play in Europe, and you're happy. You're like, yes, you finally got your chance to go play in Europe. This is gonna help your career. But you're also like, damn, I wish you stayed with America and just had, you played here your whole career. So I could see why it's like, if I'm a Trailblazers fan, I'm pumped up. He's my favorite player. He's probably the best player in franchise history. He's definitely the best player in franchise history. He's top 75 player of all time. He's going to be here until he's 36. If you're around my age, you probably... I'm 27. He came into the league like 10 years ago. So I was 7. Your whole adult life, he's been, the best player on your team. You've seen Lillard grow up right as you've grown up. There's a certain attachment you have to them. And like as Damian Lillard has also stated that he doesn't want to move his kids. Like, it's important for them to have stability, to not lose friends, to stay in the same school system. That's all great. So with that being said, like it sucks that the Trailblazers have not proved that they could put a team around him that could compete. Even when they made the Western Conference Final against the Warriors that were struggling with injuries. Obviously, it was the like undefeatable, indestructible Warriors with KD. But it's still, you never really thought that the Trailblazers had a chance to win the title. Even if they made it to the finals, you never thought that they had a chance against like LeBron if they did make it to the finals. Like, it was never like from what I remember, it was never like, damn, the Trailblazers are so close to winning a championship. It was like, yeah, you're going to get mollywopped by the Warriors. And if you don't, then the Cavaliers are probably going to beat you guys. But I do see how people would want him to go to another team to be a contender. Like Kevin Garnett, he gave it his all for Minnesota. He tried to stay there as long as he could. And at a certain point, it was like, enough. Like, I got to worry about me. Like, I want to win a ring before I retire. I don't think Lillard is gonna do that. Like, if he was gonna do that, I think he would see out this contract, or not even ask for an extension. Like, he still has 3 years on his current deal, um, and if he would have just waited out this deal, he would have been 34 years old, 30 going into his 35 age season when this current deal ends. So I think like he kind of seen it like, I don't want to ask for a trade. And if I ask for if I just see this contract out, I'm gonna be 35, which is kind of late, especially for a small, undersized point guard. I know he could shoot from anywhere, but still, 35 years old to be a free agent to go somewhere, I think that might have something to do with his decision. Like, if this was his final year, like if he's 32 and this is his final year and he goes, he lives out this contract and he's able to just be a free agent, then he might not resign. But the simple fact that he's tied up to his age 34 season, I don't think Damian Lillard is the guy to ask for a trade, especially with how he's talked. So I think he's like, I'm already going to be here to 34. Might as well just wrap it up, be here till 36 and call it a day, call it a career. I'll be one of the greats. I'm already top 75. And hopefully this new management, second year with the new head coach, they're able to turn it around. But what do you guys think? Like, should he have asked for a trade? Should he have gone? Has that window shipped? Can Lillard still be an influential player on a contending team? Like last year, he was hurt. It wasn't his best year. We'll see how he does this year. They've made some moves, but I don't think any of the moves they've made really move the needle. Really, you're not thinking about the Trailblazers contending. They might not even make the playoffs again. Like, it's a tough spot for Lillard, but I could definitely respect what he's done. I know there's people that are like, who cares about staying with the same team? Like, bro, just ask for a trade. Get out of there. Go compete. And I get it. Like, that would be amazing for people that cover the sports and just regular NBA fans. Like, if Lillard teams up with Antetokounmpo, boom, that's amazing. But, you know, I feel for Lillard. I feel for the connection that he has with the fans, and all that good stuff. So I don't blame him. If anything, I give him props for just seeing it through. And we'll see if he regrets it. Because, you know, usually when people regret it, it'll come out. Like, he'll get interviewed 10 years after his career's over. Maybe not even that long. Five years after his career's over. And he'll be like, damn, like, I should have gone in 2020 when I had a chance. I should have asked for a trade that crazy offseason of 2022. I should have asked. There's definitely possibilities, or, you know, something's going to come out if he regrets it. If he's fully content with his decision, then for the most part, you just never hear anything. But we'll see what happens. But overall, I think Lillard, he's seen it through, and he's a man of his word. He said he's not going to run from the grind, and it appears that he's not. And I know Trailblazer fans are stoked, and I know NBA fans, neutral fans, kind of are disappointed because he doesn't get the media coverage that he should get with the Blazers, and it would be great to see him with another team. It doesn't matter if he goes to like a big market team. He could go to Milwaukee with Giannis, and that would be like amazing. But it is what it is. And to wrap it up, DeAndre Ayton will be staying with the Phoenix Suns this offseason. The Suns matched his 4-year, $133 million offer sheet from the Indiana Pacers, which means at the very least he's guaranteed to stay with the Suns till January 15th. At that point, they should be able to trade him to another team if they so choose to. What does this mean? It kind of means that the Phoenix Suns should kiss goodbye to KD this offseason. Keeping DeAndre Ayton with the rookie extension just kind of blocks all the trades that could happen with the Nets, especially because they can't move him to January 15th. If they did, they would have to, even in January 15th, it'll be hard because they got to move Simmons because he's on a rookie extension too. But now with DeAndre Ayton not being movable, it kind of like messes up the chips that the Suns have to acquire KD. So I think one of the dominoes from this trade is I really do feel now that KD is gonna stay with the Nets at least till January 15th, or at least till the season starts. The Suns were one of the contenders. They were at the top of the list for KD. At least that's what reports were. So with the Suns kind of out of the run now, with them keeping DeAndre Ayton, it seems like KD might be staying put. And for the Suns, like, it's tricky. Like, DeAndre Ayton, number 1 overall pick, still has a lot of potential, but he needs to develop a little more. You got Booker, who, we're still finding out if he could be a number 1 or a number 2. Obviously, they had an upswing at the beginning of the bubble, but it wasn't till Chris Paul came there that you really saw the Suns take that giant leap into, being a contender, being a team that's going to challenge in the West for that number 1 seed. So is it Chris Paul? Is it Booker? I'm not denying Booker being an extreme talent. He could score from anywhere. He could get hot. When he gets hot, he's top 3 in the NBA at scoring buckets. Like, he makes tough shots. He makes tough shots look easy. He's definitely like an amazing talent. But does he have enough talent to be a number 1? As Chris Paul ages, as his level declines, as he probably is going to lose a little locker room influence with his skills diminishing too, will Booker be able to step up and be that number 1? And is DeAndre Ayton going to, step up too and be able to take a little bit off the load as Chris Paul, eventually Father Time is undefeated. So we'll see how long Chris Paul is able to keep it going. What I'm trying to say is, like, are we going to see Ayton develop? Are we going to see him kind of be a little salty towards the Suns for not giving him that extension, for not really extending that super max or that 5-year extension that they could have offered him? Like, what's going to happen? It's very interesting. What's going to, like Winning Horses, what's going to happen? What's happening in Phoenix? Like, what's going to happen? Like, is Ayton, is he going to get over is he going to be a little salty about the Suns not giving him 5 years and just willingly giving it to him, having to let another team offer him an extension for them to match it? There's rumors that Monty Williams and Ayton had, they were butting heads. Are they going to be able to get over it? Are they going to be able to get over the disastrous way they got eliminated in the playoffs by the Mavs? What's going to happen? Interesting. And it's crazy because the Suns were probably one of the happiest teams going into the playoffs. All these videos of them working out after losses in their gym, in opponents' gyms, like just dancing before games, doing all this stuff that made you think, like, damn, the Suns are here. The Suns are here to stay. They're building a great culture. Even as Chris Paul obviously starts declining or retires, like, this culture shift that we're seeing is going to carry for at least, the foreseeable future, at least to, as long as Monty and Booker are here. And then they got destroyed by the Mavs and got, sent home embarrassingly from the playoffs. And they have, this friction with DeAndre Ayton, and other teams are getting good in the West. And you're just like, was that it? Was that the window for the Suns? Like, did they mess it up? Should they have won it against Milwaukee? And then because they didn't, like, that's it. Like, last year, they were the number 1 seed, 60+ win season. Were those 2 years the window for the Suns, or can they run it back? Can Ayton and the Suns fix that relationship? Can Monty and Ayton fix that relationship? Can Chris Paul stay at that level for a couple more years? Can Booker, continue to grow, continue to develop as a player? Like, it's very interesting. Where do I stand on this? I don't think DeAndre Ayton and the Suns are going to fix this butting of heads that they had. I think somewhere along this season or next season, somewhere along the line, he's not going to see this contract out. He's going to get traded and they're going to split ways. And we'll see if it's KD in January 15th or somewhere after that. But honestly, I don't see it solving itself, and just, I don't see a happy marriage between Ayton and the Suns going forward. I think it's been very public, very ruptured. They should have offered him a contract. They didn't. I think players at that level, very prideful. Like, I'm prideful, and I'm not in the NBA. I'm not one of the best, however many players there is, like 200-300 players in the world. Like, I know these players are prideful, and I think Ayton is gonna be super prideful, and he's not gonna be like completely happy till he's in a different situation, till he feels that he's loved, like the team really, really wants him. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me know if there's any Suns fans, listen to this, watching this. Like, what do you guys think? Is this fixable? Like, are the Suns contenders? Let me know. But that should do it for this episode of the Hard to Handle Sports Podcast. As always, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them below. I have my Twitter handle and all that good stuff. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.